The challenge is simple: 100 days to create the best hardcore start possible. Let's go. I spawned in and did what everyone else does when they spawn in and went and punched a tree. The first priority was finding somewhere to call home for the next 100 days. So after grabbing some wood, I crafted a pickaxe and mined some stone. Then after that, I set off on my journey to go find a good place to call home. Now trying to find the perfect spot to call home took a while, I'm not gonna lie. It was just like 30 minutes of straight running, and that kind of gets boring. We eventually did find the perfect spot, which was right in this village. I wanted to be in a plains village so it's easy to trade with villagers. So we set up camp and then started to gather resources for our house. Now I looked up a couple ideas for this house. I wasn't sure what I wanted to build, but I did end up finding a good idea, which is kind of like I don't know, I've never done this kind of style before. It incorporates all sorts of different blocks to add depth to or something. I don't know. It just looks cool. After finishing the layout, I realized I wouldn't have enough stone to complete the house. So I went to my previous hole I dug into a mountain and started digging down to collect stone, but also in hopes of finding a cave, in which we did. But I wasn't going to explore that cave right now. I wanted to work on the house a little bit more before I went down there and explored the cave. I don't think I was quite ready to go down there and try to survive in a cave. But after adding the finishing touches for the first floor of the house, I decided, why not? We don't have any iron right now. We might as well go down in that cave and see if we can get iron armor. On the way down into the cave, I mentally prepared myself for anything that could be on the other side of this. The growl from the zombies did set me off a little bit, but nothing was going to stop me from getting the iron I needed. I snuck my way around, grabbing every resource that I could, because I did not want to come back down here anytime soon. Luckily, this cave had a bunch of iron, so I ended up grabbing all the iron I needed. Anything else I could find, I grabbed, because this cave was not it. It was terrifying, it was dark, there was noises everywhere, the bats were screeching, skeletons were whirring, zombies were growling. It was not a good time, but I snuck my way around, grabbed every resource I could, and got the fuck out of there. Getting to the surface was a sigh of relief. First thing I did was smelt the iron I just got, because I wanted to get armor as soon as possible. Then I touched up the first floor with some little things here and there, added the roof, which is probably pretty important. After finishing the roof of the first floor, I grabbed some resources I was going to need for the second floor and started building. Building up the second floor layout took up all my wood, so I had no more wood and no more bone meal to grow up any more spruce trees, so I decided to go hunt down some skeletons with my brand new set of armor and go get some fucking bones. Hardcore Minecraft is no joke. The amount of mobs that are outside at night is ridiculous. They spawn in like groups or something. There's creepers left and right blowing up everywhere. It was so hard to kill the skeletons and gather the loot, with zombies and creepers just chasing your ass constantly. But we got what we needed, got enough bones to hopefully last for a while, so we got the fuck out of there. We had to fight off a couple more spiders before we can go to sleep, but we went to sleep as soon as possible. Now with the fresh delivery of bones, we could finally start chopping trees again, so we got enough wood that we were going to need for the house, did some little things here and there, and touched up the second floor. After finishing up the walls of the second floor, I didn't have enough cobblestone to finish the roof, so I got all the cobble I was going to need, and now enjoy the time lapse of me finishing up the house. With the house finished, I think it was looking pretty damn good. It was completely empty. It was kind of time to move into the house now, though. So we gathered up all of our shit and put it into this chest I placed on the deck. And then I hopped off for the day. The first thing I wanted to do when I hopped on today was get diamonds, so I gathered up some wood and hit the mines. Caves in hardcore are another level. The amount of mobs in there are fucking ridiculous. But we did end up finding our first diamonds in no time, but it was a tiny ass vein. For some reason Mojang decided to make every single diamond in this game tiny ass veins, and I hate it. I was hearing some weird noises coming from the wall, and I went in there to find a fucking zombie spawner. And it was kind of scary because there was like 80 zombies in there, and I kept thinking there was gonna be something coming up behind me and give me back shots and knock me in there and get me killed. But it all went according to plan. We fucked up those zombies, destroyed the spawner, and found a chest full of garbage. After exploring the caves a little bit, we found an underwater area that had a bunch of diamonds in it, but collecting these diamonds were a pain in the ass. But, you know, at the end of the day, they're diamonds, so I guess it's worth it. But we had a really close call right here, which almost got us killed. After gathering a couple more diamonds, I decided to get the fuck out of those caves. I hate the caves. I don't want to go back there, but I got a bunch of diamonds, so I probably won't have to go back there for a while. When we got back, I started smelting some of the stuff we got, and also made my first diamond tool. Now at this point, I was a little, I don't know, I was just doing stuff. I didn't really have anything in mind. I was just kind of bored. I wasn't thinking. I was just kind of doing whatever I saw. I started cleaning up the village a little bit, randomly, here and there. Now I did want to build a big house that held all the villagers I wanted to trade with and stuff like that. So that was my next goal, to work on that a little bit. Trying to figure out what to build to hold all the villagers I wanted to trade with was terrible. It was so hard to figure out what I wanted to build. I was messing around with random shit for like 30 minutes. It was terrible. Just look at what I did here. What the fuck is this? The ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. Look how fast I destroyed it. Oh my god. Now about an hour later, I finally did come up with an idea for it, which is basically just copying the same build I did for my house, but I didn't care. I think I liked the idea of it. So I gathered up the resources I was gonna need, and then I started building. So enjoy this time lapse of me not knowing what the fuck to do and walking around like a retard. My lazy ass only decided to build 2 rooms for the time being. Although when the time comes when I have more villagers, I would build more depending on how many I need. So with the first 2 rooms being done, I collected my very first villager and put him into his room, which he would spend the rest of his sorry ass life in. It was right here when I realized that since I didn't finish the house, I was going to need something to stop zombies and mobs getting in and killing the villagers. So I decided to go with fences, which is probably the easiest option, even though they are ugly as fuck. I didn't care. So after that, I planted some sugarcane because I realized I didn't have any sugarcane. Then I struggled to figure out how to craft a lectern. But I finally did, and now I could finally start trading with villagers. Fuck. But on my very first trade, look what I got. I got a mending villager on my very first lectern place. But for some reason, I decided to get rid of him. I don't know why. I don't know what was going through my head. I don't know what I was looking for in this moment, but I don't know, man. Just looking at this, it makes me cringe, man. Like, what was I thinking? Anyways, I realized I couldn't get anything from these librarian villagers if I didn't have emeralds, so I decided to go chop some trees to get some sticks. So then I made a fletching villager to get the trade sticks for emeralds. So after trading for a shit ton of emeralds, I decided to expand on the villager house to get some more villagers in there, which I would then make librarians. But before I did that, I got another fletching villager because I need emeralds to be able to trade with the librarians. And then finally I got my first librarian villager, in which I traded with for like an hour, to then eventually get protection for only 33 emeralds. What a fucking steal. So I realized I was going to need a stronger source of paper if I was going to want to trade with these villagers, so I expanded on my sugarcane farm a little bit by moving it over and making it bigger. And I also scooped up another villager, which I then traded with for another hour. Okay, neither of these villagers I actually traded with for an hour. It's just, trading with villagers sucks. So I overestimate it because it feels like an hour even though it isn't. But I eventually got exactly what I was looking for in Fortune 3. So I mined a little bit more wood, turned that wood into sticks, in which I turned those sticks into emeralds. And then repeated the same process again for even more emeralds. And after all that villager shit, I decided to call it a day. When I hopped on this day, the first thing I wanted to do was to get full diamond armor. I didn't think iron was protective enough. So with the Fortune 3 villager we got, I decided to make an anvil and put Fortune 3 on my pickaxe. Once we had Fortune 3, it was time to head down to the cave. I don't know what's up with this cave, but this shit is buggy as fuck. It took me forever to find my first diamond, and the amount of mobs that were down there were ridiculous. I really didn't spend that much time down there. I found like 2 or 3 veins of diamonds and got the hell out of there. Fortune 3 on my pickaxe gave me plenty of diamonds, so I wasn't gonna need to come down to the mines for a while, and I wanted to get the fuck out of there. So we crafted our first set of diamond armor, and my god does that look good. All we did for the following days was farm, clean up a little bit, and trade with villagers. And now I wanted to get an Unbreaking 3 villager, but I just couldn't. These villagers wouldn't give me shit. It was pissing me off, so I gave up. After the villagers wouldn't cooperate, I decided to go get some obsidian for an enchantment table. So I grabbed 3 obsidian and headed back, but it was right here that I realized that my dumbass forgot an enchantment table takes 4 obsidian, so now I had to go find another one. After grabbing the last obsidian and crafting the enchantment table, I decided I want to mine out an area in my house to put it. So after mining out the area where I was going to put the enchantment table, I went to the villagers and traded for all the bookshelves I was going to need for the enchantment table with the emeralds I got earlier. So after putting the bookshelves down, some weird reason I wanted to make a cow farm in my house. Not sure why, so I started mining out a basement area in my house so I could put a cow farm down there. And I did enchant my pickaxe and shovel for this. I don't know why. I also enchanted my axe and I got super lucky and basically got a perfect axe. This actually was like the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life. I also decided I was tired of cutting down trees over and over again for emeralds, so I decided to make a pumpkin farm, like a big one, so that I can trade pumpkins for emeralds. And after that, we finished up the cow farm and touched up the basement a little bit. And I think it turned out pretty good. And then we called it a day. My goal for today was to get to the nether, and in order to do that we needed to find a lava pit. But before we went looking for a lava pit, I harvested and replanted some of my crops. Then I set off on the journey to go find a lava pit. I found a pillager outpost on the journey and looted that shit like it was nothing, and it had trash in it like usual. Then we pulled the James Bond maneuver to get the fuck out of there. It was about 10 minutes of running until I had the brilliant idea to get up high so I can see, and I actually saw something that looked like a lava pit, so I decided to head that direction. It turns out what I was looking at wasn't a lava pit, but it was right next to a lava pit, so it worked out perfectly. After grabbing some obsidian, piecing up a loser with a trident, I grabbed up the rest of the obsidian we were going to need for a while and then headed back. On the way back, I found a ruined portal with a bunch of obsidian and lava right next to our base. So I did this entire trip for literally nothing. Once I officially got back, I wanted to build a room to put the nether portal in, So that's what I started working on next. I don't feel like making a bunch of edits right now, so I'm just gonna time-lapse it, so enjoy. Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. And just like that, we have a fully lit nether portal in our fucking basement. Now the only thing left to do was go to the nether. Now surprisingly enough, our spawn wasn't that bad. There was a bastion right in front of us, and we weren't in a basalt biome, so that's a win. So obviously I started checking around to see if we had a fortress anywhere near us, which sadly we didn't. So all I did was grab some glowstone and get the fuck out of there. Once I got back, I used the glowstone as light for the cows, and then I finally went and got some cows. So I showed them the last room they would ever see, and then I bred them. And then after that, I did my daily farming. Then I decided to clean up the farm a little bit because I hated the crops dropping into the water after I mined them. And then I decided to make a gigantic carrot farm because who doesn't like carrots? Then after that, I went back to the nether because I just needed a little bit more XP to be able to enchant something. So I mined up some quartz, and then I decided why not explore the bastion while I'm here. In which I got absolute garbage from because I was too pussy to actually explore the whole thing. So when I got back, I enchanted another pickaxe because nothing else had anything good. After that, I sort of just did random shit like chopping trees, making sticks, trading those sticks, breeding cows, buying some Protection 4 books, then trading more sticks. Got absolutely scammed with this enchantment. Like, who the fuck wants fire protection? Did a little bit more farming. Chopped some more trees. Then made some more sticks. Then traded those sticks. And then I think I did enough to call it a day. So I hopped off. Why the fuck is there a blaze spawner in the wall? After getting all the blaze rods we needed, I decided to lay low for a little bit and do stuff around the base. So we fed our animals. I realized if we were going to beat the Ender Dragon, we are going to need a little bit more enchantments, so I decided to breed the villagers. And since I'm a nice person, I decided to give them some privacy. But that niceness did not last very long, because for some reason they decided not to breed. So I had to get involved. After doing all that shit, I decided it was time to enchant my armor, but it didn't go very well because I got scammed not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. A level 30 enchantment table upgrade gave me 1 fucking enchantment. Some fucking bullshit if you ask me. But we needed a little bit more levels to enchant our boots, in which was the only enchantment that I did that I was actually happy with. So after doing a few little things here and there, getting a little bit more emeralds, and actually getting a good enchantment for once, the time was coming. With our protection 4 villager, we made our armor fucking god tier. Armor so fucking strong no dragon could stop us. And now, the only thing we needed was for this villager to be nice to us and give us ender pearls. And since I treat my villagers so nice, he gave me ender pearls on the first fucking try. And so, we did our final preparations, and it was time. And so we set off on our journey to find the stronghold. And on that journey, I realized I was using the wrong day counter the entire fucking time. So we weren't on day 36, we were actually on day 55. But that news did not stop me. And not long after, we found the stronghold. And so after finding the portal room, I realized I was 1 Eye of Ender short because my dumbass wasted too many trying to get here. So we had to go into the nether and kill an enderman and steal his balls. Luckily enough, the portal put us right into a blue biome, so it took us no time at all to find our pearl. And now, there was only one thing to do. Could this be it? The end of all of my hard work. Every resource, every risk, every victory, all because I made a mistake? But what is the point? At the end of the day, it is just a game. Some people may say, not me. So I told myself I ain't going out like no bitch and pulled off the craziest thing this world has ever fucking seen.
And so we survived. We did it. We did one of the hardest things you could possibly do in this game, on one of the hardest versions you could possibly play. To be honest, the Inner Dragon fight is not that hard. We had one close call here and there, but it's pretty easy. But with that shit out of the way, I decided to hop off and call it a day.
When I hopped back on, I did my daily farming. The next thing I wanted to do was to get totems of undying. So what I needed to do is prepare my village for a raid. So I made a bunch of cobblestone walls so I can protect my village. The most efficient way of defeating a raid is with a god bow. So the next thing I did was put power 5 on my bow. And my god, was that a good idea. So after doing the final preparations, it was time to fight this fucking raid. So we went to the pillager outpost, fucked up their captain, then we had all we needed to fight a fucking raid. So my plan for this raid was to sit on top of my big building I built and just snipe all the raiders. They shouldn't be able to get close with the walls I built, so I was thinking it was a pretty good idea. And wow, was I right. This was a really easy raid. The only hard parts were trying to get the evokers, but other than that, it was one of the easiest things I've done. And it didn't take us long to get our first totem. So after finishing the raid, we actually got ourselves a really nice haul of totems, so I wasn't gonna have to deal with this for a long time. In order to achieve the main goal of this challenge, which is to get the best start possible to a hardcore world, I wanted to get as much netherite armor as possible and really good enchantments. So to finish off the last 20 days, that was our main goal. So after doing a lot of villager trading, we got all the enchantments we were gonna need. The next thing I wanted to do was build a creeper farm for TNT to use in the nether, so we gathered up all the resources we were gonna need for the farm, and then we got to building the farm, which surprisingly enough wasn't that hard. In fact, the hardest part about this was gathering up all the resources I was going to need for this farm, because it took a lot of trapdoors. But after finishing the farm, even though we had 5 days left, I wanted to try it out a little bit, so I decided to take some time and AFK. So after AFKing for like 5 to 10 minutes, I came back and I wasn't very happy with the results, so I decided we were going to have to take a different method in retrieving netherite. And my solution was to use beds. So we gathered up all the beds that I could possibly find, and then went to the nether. Before I went mining for netherite, I decided to trade with a hoglin to get fire resistance just in case. But after that, we dug down to Y level 15 and started blowing up shit. The first netherite we actually found wasn't even from a bed, it was just me mining to find a place for a bed, which I found was kind of funny. But the beds weren't working too great. I even went to a chunk border because I saw that might help, but I didn't get any netherite from my beds. So after a disappointing haul of only 1 netherite ingot, I headed back and decided I needed TNT. So we AFK'd for a while. We then made a whole 12 TNT. And once I went back into the nether, I realized that in today's Minecraft, you can't just make netherite with netherite ingots, and you needed a smithing template. So I decided I was gonna try and get that now. Now I have something against bastions because in the previous hardcore world, I actually died in a bastion. So I do not like these things. They freak me out a little bit. So I was taking every precaution necessary. We ended up going to a different bastion, made our way down to the middle, and found the smithing template we needed, and some extra ancient debris and netherite scrap. After that, we only had 1 day left to try to get as much netherite as possible, so I wasted no time in blowing the fuck out of the nether. Whoa, that sounded wrong. Our luck was not great, we only found a few more ancient debris, but it was enough to get us a couple of ingots. So after smelting my ancient debris, duplicating my smithing template a couple of times, we ended the 100 days with a netherite chestplate and netherite pants. In summary, we built a decent starter base, built a villager mansion, beat the Ender Dragon, beat a raid, and got half netherite, prop 4, and Unbreaking 3 armor. So we may have not achieved the best start possible, but I think we did pretty damn good. But anyways, thanks for watching. Come back next time to see what I do with this world next.